Chola is a stock in focus, and joining us now is Arulselvan, the Executive Vice President and CFO of the company. Good morning, Arul. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let me start by asking you, it's a difficult sector that you're lending to, a lot of commercial vehicles, but how have the last 5 weeks been, July and the first 2 weeks of August, compared to June? Have disbursements picked up?
Disbursements compared to June is little muted, primarily because in June we did quite a lot of tractors, which was good in because of the monsoons. This will slow down marginally in this period because of the seasonal effect. However, the cars and the passenger vehicle in rural and two-wheelers in rural is picking up, and we are seeing that traction. CVs are yet to pick up in a large way. So that is something which may happen only post the festival, which is maybe after September. But right now, since we are having good rural presence, we are still clocking a decent volume.
Okay, if you could put some numbers to it, what would you mean by decent? I think quarter on quarter, Q1 you were minus 37. So how much better will you be over Q1?
See, Q1 minus 37 is primarily because April was a complete washout and it was also partially not there. June we were almost 70% of our last year's June's volume. July also we are in the similar levels. So we should, while we may not cross the Q2 of last year numbers, we will be fairly closer to it, I would say almost like 85 to 90% of the volume of last year Q2.
Okay, no, that's not bad. Mr. Arulselvan, I wanted your thoughts also on the other segment that you cater to, which is the LAP and the SME segment. Out of your total AUM of 63,000 crores, about 20% comes from this segment, and within that you also cater to the self-occupied residential property segment. 80% comes from there. How is the situation right now? Has there been any pickup, or do you still continue to see pressure?
See, this segment for us is primarily focused in the Tier 1, Tier 2 cities, because we were having the mortgages, because the documentation and the evaluations are better in the Tier 1, Tier 2 cities. So we had been focusing more in the Tier 1, Tier 2 cities. As you know, the lockdown impact for the Tier 1, Tier 2 cities has been larger than what it was for rural. So we had been very careful in lending to this segment during this period. So here the growth will continue to be little muted for another quarter or two until the lockdown completely gets lifted. So the SROP segment, which is actually is not a separate segment by itself, which is more a classification from the underlying asset perspective to ensure that there is a association or there is a connect to the underlying asset, which people will not normally would want to let go of even in case of a tight situation.
Okay. Mr. Arulselvan, first of all, actually I wanted to congratulate your company for the excellent presentation of the moratorium details. You set a new benchmark, and I wish all banks and non-banks followed that. But of course the numbers were difficult. About 30% you said have fully paid, but 37% moratorium nothing paid, and 33% partly paid. How would the split look now?
See, this is first of all the details which was shared is representing only 1 month of collection. That is true, because April and May were almost a complete one.
Yeah, but now we have 6 more weeks.
Yes. July is almost a repeat of June, and we have collected more on the moratorium customers. Our collections right now is clocking in the range of around 50% plus, which means almost 25% out of the 75% moratorium customers are paying. The other factor also is in the moratorium customers, we are focusing on cleaning up in case they had some past overdues, which also helps to make the books completely clean of the stage 2 and stage 3 assets, and thereby start with a sort of a clean slate when we go on into September. And then the moratorium customers will not be burdened with past dues, and they will have to continue to service only the current dues, which is going to start billing will start from 1st of September, the month of September.
That's an excellent idea, but won't that mean an NPV hit for you?
No, because actually I'm clearing up the old dues, and then it is not that the moratorium 6 months will come up to be paid on the first day of the September. The customers are earning. Today, if you look at it, the vehicle finance customers are operating at around 65 to 70% efficiency, which means they can comfortably service one EMI at least. So that gives us, that is why during this moratorium period we are using their ability to repay part of their surplus money in settling or closing the old overdue.
Okay.
So once that is behind us or behind them, then from September they will started. There will be billing of 1 month every for one EMI every month, which they can comfortably service if these same levels of cash flows continue for them.
Okay. You are one of the leading players in the financing, particularly of three-wheelers and small commercial vehicles. There is now an increasing trend, an increasing demand actually for e-commerce players, for delivery goods. Even in your own presentation, you write that there is a big surge that you're seeing in rural demand for this space. But what kind of disbursement growth are you expecting to see here? And is the situation now much better than what we've seen in the preceding 3 months?
I wouldn't say that it has changed by a quantum leap. It is progressively increasing. See, the e-commerce is one part of the story. The three-wheelers and then the LCVs and mini LCVs are a predominant play in the rural segment because the load levels are smaller, so they engage smaller vehicles. So that is where, and there, because of the good monsoon, etc., not only the need for agricultural produce transportation, but also the customers' FMCG goods, white goods, consumption is increasing because of the availability of money with them. A lot of money is also going because of the government schemes, which is also helping them to spend on these factors, which is again driving the demand for this transportation.
Okay. Well, Mr. Arulselvan, how are you looking at asset liability mismatch? What are the liabilities you have to pay up in the next 6 months? You have the money for it?
Actually, I have the reverse problem. I have too much money.
Okay, let me avoid that question. Okay, we'll avoid that question. Let me come to the next more important question. How are you going to do the restructuring, if at all?
The restructuring will be very, very, selective and very, very focused with regard to, persons who have been impacted because of COVID and where the impact is going to be continued for a longer period. So the restructuring is not like moratorium. Moratorium is a small short-term benefit given, and after that the clock starts again, and then it is the same EMI that will be paid by them from the subsequent months onwards. Whereas in restructuring, we have to evaluate the capability that their cash flows has taken a severe hit that continuously they are not going to earn as what they had planned or what they had been earning earlier, and do they really need a restructuring throughout the residual tenor of their loan. Unless that is proven, we would not be wanting to venture to restructure every loan. So it is not like a moratorium. I want to make that.
Okay, no, so therefore, obviously you're going to be extremely, use a lot of discretion in granting. So what do you expect will be, the provisioning requirement? I know you all, as Indians, you all do it dynamically. Will you have a provision load for Q2 and Q3?
Because of restructuring or because of...
Because you are not giving restructuring.
See, because we are not giving restructuring, the provisioning will reflect the collection efficiency post the...
exactly. So, since you know best the collection efficiency, I'm asking if...
Sorry, I'm coming to that. What I'm trying to say is, with the vehicle finance customers, as we see now, what we are seeing is that if they are able to utilize 70-75% of their capacity, they can comfortably service one EMI, which is what they will be due to pay post September.
Yes.
Okay.
So unless that level of efficiency drops because of certain new developments, so we don't know how this COVID will pan out. Thankfully, it is progressively coming down and all factors seem to be positive. I'm just giving a sort of a caveat that unless there is a nationwide or a very large part of the nation getting impacted and shut down, we don't see a drastic reduction in their earning potential below the 75% mark.
Got it.
Okay.
If they are above 75, actually they will be much more,
Okay.
comfortable.
Got it.
Okay, so that's on vehicle finance. On home finance, I wanted your thoughts. Given that there has been an extended lockdown across many states, do you think repayments may come under a bit of stress over the next few quarters for Chola? And are you adequately, have you increased your provision coverage ratio to sort of, in anticipation of this?
See, we were right in the case of home equity. There is a loan against property book and a home loan book, which is more concentrated in tier 1 and tier 2 sort of geographies. The ability of the customers to bounce back, especially if they are in certain industries or businesses which are more prone for shutdowns and lockdowns or restricted accesses, etc., they will have a difficulty in coming back. So such customers we will be looking at for restructuring if that is required, that they are having a continued stress that is expected on them.
Okay.
Other than that, we don't see any issues. I think we'll provide you the vintage details of the profile and the customer behavior of the market.
Just a quick, final question. There's another guest waiting. The margin picture, will it improve?
Yes, margins will improve. You have been telling me also, I heard in the past also that the cost of funds have come down. We are moving into higher yield products, so we are confident.
Okay. Mr. Arulselvan, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us with a wealth of details with which investors should be able to judge your stock better.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's Cholamandalam. Started in the red, but now it's moving into flat terrain, the stock. But with that, we